Welcome to Wrestling is Real.
To be the man, you gotta beat the man, and I'm saying, woo, right here.
Here's the future of wrestling. You can call this the new world order of wrestling, brother.
Day in and day out, I am the best on this microphone, in that ring, even in commentary.
And whether you like it or you don't like it, learn, by God, to love it, because it's the best thing going today.
Celebrating 8 years of podcast excellence, the King of Podcasts Radio Network proudly presents the Wrestling is Real podcast, because wrestling needs us. Tonight, I couldn't have asked for a better pay-per-view. And I know there's going to be a lot of wrestling fans that are, listen to other podcasters, my podcast brother out there. I'm sure those that feel like they need to go ahead and, not be full-fledged AEW marks, they have to go ahead and nitpick the show. They have to take a little things here and there to be a little bit critical, just to, because they can't just say the fact that the show was great. I keep saying it because it is. Okay, I don't have a dog in the fight. My thing is, it doesn't matter to me what happens to these shows and how they're going to turn out. For me, they're great. This show, top to bottom. Hey, you could have said there's a couple things in each match that might have slowed things down a little bit. Sure, I can understand that. But I didn't find that at all. It was incredible how good this show is tonight. Love the title change with Adam Page. Hangman Adam Page is now at the right time, the appropriate time. It's the right time to see Kenny Omega drop the belt. And regardless of what people thought, because remember, some of the people are going to be looking at this whole pay-per-view, and they're going to look at it from the goggles of what WWE has provided them for years, right? What the Attitude Era, the best of the best we've enjoyed. All of that is going to be always thought about. And, you can do that. Everybody else is going to do that. You're going to compare what we have. But if for those of you that only want to compare to the Attitude Era and compare to what the 90s were with Nitro, I go back to the 80s. And I go back to NWA, watching AWA, because I watched Baron Von Raschke, who was in the ringside tonight. I watched World Class Championship Wrestling. I watched UWF and Mid-South Championship Wrestling. I watched all that. Championship Wrestling for 40. I saw all of it down here in South Florida growing up. And it was a lot of great wrestling. And of course, there's always one thing where WWE does have a style of wrestling that I can appreciate and I can watch regularly. Not a problem there. But with this show tonight, exceptional. Bell to bell. Everything. There was not a match that made me feel like I needed to turn away or step away. Anything. One of the most complete cards you could say. And that's what I put out tonight. I said it was an all-star card with an A-list roster. Just massive. Because I feel like AEW, you can't do better than this right now. This is the best it can be. If it's possible to do better than this, I don't know. But I can't see where they can do it. I don't know. It was just so good. Even the buy-in. Like and maybe it's just, I do watch a lot of AEW. So I catch Rampage usually on tape because I'm usually coming back from the movies when I watch it. So I'll watch it afterwards. I catch Dark and Dark Elevation. Those shows right there to me are nice and compact. They go fast. Hell, tonight's pay-per-view ran as fast as a show on Dark does, where they just go match after match after match after match. And that's what it felt like tonight. They put everything out there. They built up, which is the way I love wrestling. The TV show properly got you prepared, mentally, enthusiastically prepared for this pay-per-view from everything they did, and every match paid off. The booking, everything. So all I can expect now from AEW is this is the bar that they've set, the biggest bar they've ever set. the highest bar. Now they just need to reach this, because I don't see how you can do it better than this. There is not anything that any fan out there, fantasy booking out here, to say, oh, what about Wyndham and Rotunda? Well, what about all these other wrestlers coming in? You know, I'm just hearing something about, oh, well, why didn't Lana come in to go ahead and infiltrate, some other WWE, free agent coming into the play? No, we don't need that right now. And I hope Tony Khan doesn't listen to any of that. I hope that Tony Khan realizes tonight this is the best show that was booked, and his crew should be fucking proud of this show and say, man, this is how every pay-per-view needs to go. This is all our big cards. They need to be just like this. Because stories were told, you had matches that were set up, and this, again, top 4 pay-per-view for them. But, I mean, I can't even say if WrestleMania does this well of being able to build up this many stories on a card. And the last time they've done it has been 20 years ago. Now, WWE on a show will build possibly 2 or 3 matches, maybe 4 matches for a WrestleMania really damn good. The rest of the card? No. This was everything. You had storylines going with storylines on all of it. And I must say this too, that, I was afraid, number one, how all these wrestlers were going to do, because when you start off the night and then you keep going with matches, and I'm like, there is not a slowdown on this fucking card. And every match is like, wow, this match is next. Oh, wait a minute. This match is next. What? That's how I felt like all night. It was incredible. It was exciting the whole damn time. I love this pay-per-view. A+. It's the first one I've ever done that. I've never graded a show A+. A-, yeah. This was A+. This might be, I feel like I'm going to say it. This is probably the best show I've ever reviewed. The highest grade I've ever given in the history of this program. Was that good? Not even A+. Was that damn good a show. And it has, you can talk about the card and the wrestlers you got in there. One thing I always talk about is not the fact that we have all these WWE free agents that have come into the play, that have been here for a while, or that just came into the fray. It's the matter of that I look at the wrestlers that are brought in now, the way they're used, the matches they were put in, the fact they got to work the way they want to work, and how this was just a pro wrestling faction of taste of everything that you wanted. You wanted psychological, real storytelling. You wanted technical wrestling. You wanted some little bit of extreme action. You had everything on this card. Everything. And so I know everybody else I'm going to listen to, and many people will come to this show because they want to hear what the response is. Immediate response to this show was what the review is. That's fine. That's okay. Everybody wants to do that. So if you happen to catch my show, thank you. I hope you could decide to subscribe either on the YouTube channel, or you catch my show where you can find it wherever you find it, on Apple, Amazon, Spotify, iHeartRadio, and all that stuff, or wrestlingisreal.com. But I'll tell you, you also look at the stars that were in WWE, and some of them obviously were used very well. Some were not as well used as they could have. But it's really hard to talk about which stars, when you look at this whole card, of which ones you feel like you can't really kind of put any kind of a ranking on who's what. Like, everybody contributed so well. And remember, there are feuds and shit that are going on in AEW. Didn't even make this show that you could have put on here. Again, they didn't even the TNT Championship wasn't defended, but they did prompt a TNT title match this Wednesday with the debut of Jay Lethal. But other than that, you still got the TBS title tournament that wasn't even put on this show. The World Title Eliminator Tournament, which was finally put out here. But there's other feuds that you can also bring up. I mean, I don't think they could have made this pay-per-view, but that's how much there is. There's so many stories going on now that they have so much they can't even put on this pay-per-view. And they stack this so much. I mean, you could have maybe taken one of these matches off, or 2 of matches off of here, to make it a 3-hour show and put it on Dynamite. But, some of the matches he felt like could be on this card. And, I wouldn't have doubted, I wouldn't have been discouraged in the slightest if any of these matches they considered, we're going to push this off the Dynamite or Rampage. And that'd have been fine too. But that tells you that this company has more than enough to work with. And they're utilizing everybody as much as possible. When you're looking at, as MJF said a while back, the 4 pillars of this company, except for Orange Cassidy, who fought on a featured match on Rampage, 3 of the pillars were featured prominently tonight. You look at all these free agents, all these people that have been brought into the mix in the latest run after CM Punk comes in, and then the rest of the entourage of people that are coming into the company and adding to this card. It's a different story than WCW. I don't know how long it's. I mean, I'm wondering. I don't even want to think about how long this lasts. But at least the one thing that AEW wanted to accomplish, if you wanted to give me a rock solid, damn good pay-per-view I could go watch again and again, this show. And as I said, when I talk about the other AEW shows since, or if it's Double or Nothing, or it's Revolution, I'm saying there might be one match that might be off. And that's it. But you can't even get to that now. That just shows you the progression this company's making and what they're doing. That's where they are. They have made so much progress. Plus, you got also the roster of talent that you bring in here that is so experienced, so savvy, and so good in the ring, with so much charisma, so much energy, so much ability, and knowing how to tell a story in the ring, knowing how to work a match, all of it. Also, seeing a melding of certain, companies and certain promotions and certain people and bring them together and the stories they told. Okay, let's get into the show itself, because I'm sure there's going to be stuff I can talk about on Wednesday night when we get to it. But let's break down the show itself. Buy-in match, Nyla Rose and Jamie Hayter against Hikaru Shida and Thunder Rosa. So we know that Thunder Rosa and Jamie Hayter, they're still in the TBS title tournament, which is coming up. And that's going to continue on. So Serena Deeb is brought out at ringside. So you know that the Hikaru Shida Serena Deeb feud continues. That hasn't gone away yet. This match was very good. Crowd was very much into it. And, when you look at it, it was a hell of a match they put together. It was a lot of excitement. They gave him 12 minutes, and Hikaru Shida and Thunder Rosa get the win. And I'm just happy Thunder Rosa keeps winning. And I hope that Thunder Rosa gets that TBS title. Should make it to the finals anyway. But we'll find out what they're going to do with him. Then you get to that opening match. MJF versus Darby Allin. This is the best match, probably the best match of MJF's career. In this match, this guy is a work of art. He is something else, man. What a classic. Old school fucking heel. Piece of shit. You want to hate the man. And the way this match was done was so methodical. And remember, you got to remember some of the components of the story that was brought up from Darby's uncle and the car crash where he survives, or was his father? I forget what it was. And then having that repurposed in the match, right? Because of the entrance for Darby Allin. And MJF coming in this classic with the with the pastels, the lavender trunks with the Burberry. What a look. But MJF gets pure heat, and you can just tell, just his work has been doing so well. The extra heat he's getting on himself for really, just shitting on crowds on a regular basis and doing it during the matches. And his work rate is underrated. When I look at what that guy does, and he works great to whichever match he wants to do. It's like he really does plot out the style he's going to go with in a certain match, whether it's Chris Jericho or, if it's Jungle Boy, whatever. I mean, it's a different feel of where he's going to go with certain matches and what he's going to do. With Cody, same thing. He changes his style. For a guy his size that could be doing high spots, which he rarely does, for him doing, any kind of fast-moving action, this guy's methodical. He's plotting. He is damn fun to watch. Darby Allin was such a great adversary in this match for him. Darby Allin, these two guys working even when they were just doing the clutch with both hands and doing all the moves together, and then just some of the stuff they did together and the chemistry they had was tremendous. They told a great story in the ring. Excellent story. Psychological across the board. It was a slow-paced match. Slow pace for Darby Allin, who I'm used to not seeing, running really at that slower pace, but they just told a great story. Was just engulfed by it. I love matches like this. You don't get many like this. Talk about cerebral assassin right here. MJF, man. This here with Darby Allin, what a amazing match here. You did get a little bit of plunder, which never happened because Sting did come out the ringside, where actually he came out for a half second to go ahead and, bump fists with Darby Allin to go back out. Wardlow and Shawn Spears, whom Shawn Spears has been kind of, accompanying MJF in, previous in this storyline right now because of what's going on, and Sting takes care of him. So you never even saw that going on. It was just MJF and Darby Allin. But then, in pure scumbag heel fashion, takes and then again, with this, what amazing finish. Storytelling, skateboard through the Darby Allin. Hit me. So MJF. And then Darby Allin, he gets caught up with it. Ref, dynamite diamond in the trunks, which he's used. And also, even with Justin Roberts being told, I could cradle and pin this guy, which he did. Elbow cradle. He even did that at the end of the match after he hit the dynamite ring onto Darby Allin. I mean, just kismet, man. What a story. Front, beginning, and end. That was just a wonderful story. I don't want this story to end. And it's not going to end. This feud continues. This shit is awesome. Booked well. I mean, it sucks to see Darby Allin lose, but he lost in shitty fashion. In a hell of a match. They got a lot of damn time. This match did not slow it down. And these are two young fucking guys, man. What are these guys? 23, 24 each? They got such a future ahead of them. And they are working out there like a bunch of 40-year-olds. Because that match did not feel like a bunch of 20-year-olds in there, young and like only a couple of years in their career. No, nothing like that. It's another level. It's another level of wrestling. And it just blew my mind the way that came out. It was just excellent. And the crowd. I think if you saw this in other promotions, this might have gotten a little bit shit on, or this kind of gotten, it was a bit sluggish. I'm going to tell you, if WWE fans, the casual fans you see, the IWC, if you would have seen this in another promotion, this would have gotten a little bit of boring chance. People would have gotten a little bit slowed down by it. I really feel like that. But this story got time to ferment. It got a time to build to the end. Excellent. And I want this feud to continue. I don't want this to stop. Let's keep it going. He even said, fight forever in the ring. Let's go. I could watch these guys go 60 minutes. It was that good tonight. That good. And then after that, I'm saying to myself, how do you top this shit? How are you going to top this match? Lucha Brothers and FTR, AEW World Tag Team title. When they talk about FTR being one of the best tag teams out there, I'm with them now. Totally. FTR, they give that feel of Midnight Express because they have that Midnight Express feel. They feel like that whole thing. And Tully Blanchard, a company's great out there. Lucha Brothers, another great entrance to come out. Ray Phoenix defies logic, defies gravity, all of it. Penta, we already know. Great compliment to his brother. These guys, you could keep these guys working, and it's lovely. They even played off the AAA tag team title match where the mask came in. That was really cool to bring that back. But, man, these guys work good. Oh, I forget the whole. There was a couple times where I just saw like double team moves, or not double teams, where it was Phoenix with the offense on both FTR members on Dax and Cash, and just this shit also, man. You can't ask for a better tag team match. It's a classic. This type of match and the MJF Darby Allin match, this feels like something I could have watched in the 80s. I kid you, maybe not the Lucha stuff, but the Lucha Libre, maybe the 90s. You could have put this in the 90s. Those first two matches, if I would have seen that in the 90s, I still would have been blown away by them. Blown away was so damn good. And there's not enough I could even say to talk about how good this match was. But it was excellent. Lucha Brothers come in with the pinfall, 18 minutes in that match. And then you move along, to Miro and Bryan Danielson, world title eliminator finals. They left it all in the ring. All of it. And my thing is, too, if this was Rusev versus Daniel Bryan, you would have never gotten this kind of match in WWE. No fucking way. Not possible. This was also really good. Because Danielson playing the American Dragon role in submission mode. These guys working hard on each other. Miro was dominating for a good part. And Bryan Danielson been fine. Listen, you know what people are going to go and complain about? Because Jim Ross said Daniel Bryan twice. Cut him some slack, man. That guy's recovering from skin cancer. Seriously. You guys want to go after him because he's older and this and that. You know what? I got it. I mean, he's not the one calling the matches. He's analyzing. And for him to kind of make a little flub like that, you know how many people I watch, or listen to on football broadcasts they fuck up to? Okay? You got a bunch of older people sometimes working analysts. And sometimes, yeah, it's going to be a little bit of a miss. Because how many times did Jim Ross have to call Rusev or Daniel Bryan when he was still there? Or when he brought them in? Come on. I mean, really cut him some slack. Everybody wants to be so damn critical sometimes, man. You guys nitpick sometimes. I don't know why. I get it. Yeah. Do what you want. That's your call. But this match also, another one, fantastic. Bryan Danielson wins. And I love the fact that we get so many damn Bryan Danielson matches. This guy wants to work. He wants to wrestle. He wants to wrestle everybody. This guy has not stopped. And the matches have been great. All of them. Let him start off a Rampage, kicking ass. Start him off on a Dynamite, kicking ass. Because we're going to see the Bryan Danielson that we saw in Ring of Honor. By the way, the Bryan Danielson American Dragon of Ring of Honor, added with the promo ability, added with the extra little things that, to the credit of WWE, they brought a couple of different things into the repertoire of Bryan Danielson so that this Bryan Danielson has charisma, has passion, which he had before, but the charisma, the ability, the intensity now is somewhere, and also because he's just a grizzled veteran, just looks so much better now. And that's not taking anything away from what he did in Ring of Honor, because I never got to see half of the matches he did in Ring of Honor, because at that time, it wasn't even that accessible for me to watch. But I remember everybody and their mother talking about Bryan Danielson. They could not, anybody that brought up Ring of Honor, they had to bring him up. They had to bring him up. All the time. Now, with that said, another excellent match. You're talking about, 3 matches right there. And really, what do you do to kind of keep this up? Well, the middle of the card held its own. Also with great feuds, great matches, because you knew right now, okay, we still got the women's title match and the world title match, which we know we're going to have some great stuff, especially that world title match. Everybody is chomping at the bit for that, and the CM Punk Eddie Kingston match. So we have matches that we can go ahead and bring up coming forward. Because if you wanted to go and, take some matches to kind of shorten down the card, you could have probably taken the Falls Count Anywhere match, the tag team match with Cody, Pac, Andrade, and Malachi. You could have pulled them and put them onto Dynamite or Rampage if you wanted to. But you don't. Tony Khan wanted to make sure he had all these people on pay-per-view. And obviously, a lot of the people that he had on were people that people absolutely wanted. If people were really around for this pay-per-view. Maybe some those that are very much WWE loyalists and saying, I'm not watching an AEW show. But then all of a sudden, they caught Dynamite Grand Slam or Rampage Grand Slam and like Bryan Danielson, Adam Cole, CM Punk. Yeah, you got all of them on this show. Andrade, Malachi, you got them all on this show. Everybody that was brought into the mix, just about everybody got on this show. Christian Cage also got on this show. So this card stacked with a lot of veteran star power. And that's what really held up quite a bit here. But then you look at, a number of younger stars still in the mix in some of these matches that you could just see were standing out. And just, it was very good to integrate. So it wasn't old matches all across. Now, Christian Cage, Jurassic Express against the Super Click. This was also a fun match. Falls Count Anywhere. One of two matches with some plunder in it, which you could expect, and was good stuff. Now, in this particular match, it was so much going on here, too much, but this is just, when your Young Bucks were in Ring of Honor, this is the kind of stuff I expect. Super Kick Party we had. Adam Cole fitting into this mix, the tacky uniforms, the knee pads with thumbtacks in them, like all this shit was like, a lot of stuff going on. And the faces win, which is really great. When you see the end of it, Super Click takes the pin, and 22 minutes for this match. I can't say a whole lot more about it. Just a very solid fucking match. Fun, exciting match. Young Buck style. It fit. It was just great shit. Everybody worked really well in this match. Then you got Cody Rhodes and Pac against Malachi Black and Andrade El Idolo, which I think, to me, Malachi Black and Andrade El Idolo are a great tag team together. These guys just got some really good chemistry. And because of the fact that WWE wants to work with superstars that have different athletic backgrounds, even the fact that they might have two of some of the best pro wrestlers in the world in Malachi Black and Andrade El Idolo, as pro wrestlers, Andrade El Idolo or Malachi Black could headline just about any other promotion in the world. Just about. These guys were going to tag team in this match because they told the story. Cody Rhodes and Pac, they put that story together pretty quick. Said, okay, we're not going to put, the original plan of having, I forgot what was going to be the original plan for that match, because everybody talking about it was a different match altogether. But, to put them together, put this feature match, definitely gave some time, 16 minutes. And for me, I liked all these guys together. And I know it's another thing too is that everybody wants to go and see Cody go heel. I could give a shit. I'm the only guy that doesn't care about Cody getting booed or cheered, or more booed than cheered. It doesn't make a difference to me. Everybody wants to go after Cody Rhodes. Fine, go for it. Everybody has to have some kind of resentment or some kind of vitriol toward the man. On TV, they want to call it Hollywood because he's on a game show. He's got his reality show with his wife. All of that. That kind of thing going on. Got it. And I've never cared. It doesn't matter to me at all. It's just, that's what they want to do. And for everybody to go ahead and have their own thing about the EVPs and this and that. Listen, Tony Khan's pretty much, he's all in charge. And the EVP kind of thing we were always talking about before, well, it's kind of different, looks like. Because it's fine, because somebody is actually on top and is the number one shot caller. He's the one, you have one person that is the person that says yes or no, the green light. Tony Khan is his own Vince McMahon, without all the years of experience, with all the other stuff that comes with Vince McMahon. Just saying. This match was really good. We had some animosity with both Pac and Cody, which was good. And then Andrade and Black also had a little bit of that. But for the most part, they worked well together. Andrade, fantastic. Malachi Black, fantastic. These guys work all well together. It was great. And AEW just knows how to present these guys as stars. When I look at Miro and Bryan Danielson and Super Click, I mean, even Christian Cage, they all feel like bigger stars than WWE would ever make them make. Okay? They all have great entrances. They all work great in the ring. Andrade, amazing entrance. Malachi Black, amazing entrance. Pac looks like a star. And these guys, you don't really see them get beat. Because the other thing, too, is that you don't have these guys always working with each other for them to take losses from each other. Right? That's one thing WWE doesn't do. When you see the records of all these guys with only a couple of losses, and when the losses are few as they are, and they also come to people that are really like, at the, they're legitimate losses, that makes sense. But when you look at all of this, they are working. And the bulk of their matches are most likely, they might be on Dark or Dark Elevation, and they're hitting jobbers all the time. So for the bulk of the stars that are being presented well on camera, you don't have like you do with stars in the mid-card and WWE that are predominantly subpar, sub 500 records if you counted their matches. You do understand that. That makes a really big difference, and I don't think anybody really talks about that. But the records, the win-loss records of all these wrestlers, when you see them come out and what they're doing, I mean, there's only certain stars that really do feel like mid-card because you can tell, like a Matt Hardy, absolutely is mid-card. Say Gun Club, yeah, they're mid-card. You see certain stars that are just right there mid-card, like the Best Friends get a lot of that because there's a role that needs to be fit for that, where they can get losses, they can get wins, but they just kind of stay in the middle. But when you have certain stars that are brought on and they're absolutely killing it, you look at the stars that are, ranked where they are. With Ty Conti, which is like 26-3, Adam Page was like, 13-1 this year, I think it was. That's what they put on his. And I'm like, yeah, these guys are all made to be strong. They're winners. They win a lot, and they rarely lose. And when they do have a lot of matches, they're not just losing because the stars that they're losing to are not major, they're not always major stars. They will take matches with jobbers, and they will be enhanced. It'll be enhancement matches, and then, those big stars continue to stay strong. So you pad their records a bit, but then you're not letting same level stars wrestle each other to take losses. That's a big difference. That's how it used to work in the old days. That's how it worked with all the really older wrestling promotions back in the day. Because what would it look like if Ric Flair had a whole bunch of losses compared to wins? Or if you look at, just pick any big star. If you had him with a record of sub 500, they wouldn't have mattered as much. When you look at Big E, what would his record be right now? If you looked at his whole record. I mean, you could go look it up. But what if WWE started putting the records out there? Win-loss records. What would that tell you? Because remember, if you see certain stars and they win and they keep winning on the way up to a title or winning their way up into a feud, that's what matters. That's what makes them so popular. It makes them so good. Now, moving along, AEW Women's World Title, Dr. Britt Baker, DMD versus Ty Conti. Baker got dominating in the match. If you've seen a Dr. Britt Baker match once, you've seen them all. Because it is very much of a certain style that we have. She does get the upper hand. You get a little bit of, plunder from Jamie Hayter and Rebel, not Reba. And they definitely made it where Ty Conti felt a little bit underdog in here. We know that she earned her spot here. But it definitely made it where they wanted to kind of feel like that Ty was getting overmatched. Because Britt Baker's been booked so damn strong, which is true. To give the match 15 minutes, this match probably was a little bit slowed down. I mean, if any match was going to be tough to kind of keep up with the rest of the matches that preceded them, yeah, this would be the one. But, any kind of lacking of excitement or energy, you lose it because of the fact that because Britt Baker is still so damn over, and Ty Conti is, you really love, you love to see her in the ring. The thing is, these women put a great match out there. It was really damn good. And You got a point where Ty Conti escaped the lockjaw. She hit her own move. I mean, she did a few things where, she put Britt Baker, against the ropes and could have had the win, but the distraction came across. It was a distraction that came across, and I said she got distracted, got rid of the distraction. So part of it is that with Rebel and Hayter, she neutralized them, which is just damn strong for a babyface to do. And then she tried to go and come in and then left it one-on-one for her and Britt Baker, but there's a whole lot to overcome as a face. And Dr. Britt Baker's been booked so damn strong for anybody to go and beat her, it was not going to be tonight. Ty Conti wasn't going to be the one. I didn't think maybe somebody thought that could happen because she's been booked so strong. Her record's so good. The way they presented Ty Conti was so damn good. So you could see it, but it would have been tough to have happened. But they had a great match. Britt Baker continues to be champion. And I don't know who takes this belt off of her. It's going to be kind of tough. They've booked her so damn strong. For somebody to go and take that belt off of her, that's going to be tough. But they want to keep that belt on her, and she's damn strong. She's so much over right now. You could keep that belt on Britt Baker for a while. You could keep going with that. Now, next match. Wow. CM Punk and Eddie Kingston. Amazing. This match only got 11 minutes. Felt longer. But it's because they were brawling. I mean, it felt like Fight Club out there. It was a damn physical brawl. First thing in the match to start off is a KO punch, blindsided Punk with Eddie Kingston hitting him with a backhand, or with a back elbow, and knocked out CM Punk flat. So if Eddie Kingston would have waited for the bell, he could have pinned CM Punk, but that's not what he was there for. As we saw, Eddie Kingston didn't care about winning. And he made it very clear. So if CM Punk was going to win, that's what we thought was going to happen anyway. I don't care if I win. I want to beat his ass. And he did. And he cut CM Punk very early on. And these guys just beat the piss out of each other. What a brutal fight this was, man. This was just incredible. I mean, it's the fight that I thought these guys would have. Yeah. And the other thing, too, we always talk about, the complaining about how when you have a feud like these two and the way they fought each other felt like a fight. It wasn't this thing where like, oh, we're just going to have a, generic wrestling match after we've, been beating each other's ass for the last 3-4 weeks. No. This was a fight. And this was, you had a couple of wrestling moves. For the most part, you just had these guys just pummeling each other and just beating the piss out of each other. Pier 6 brawl. And once Punk got color, this is where everything evened up. And then Punk just got really aggressive and just started going down on Eddie Kingston. And then Eddie Kingston had to go to sleep twice to finish him off. CM Punk looking really strong. Great match out of him in this match. A different style match. But these guys, it was nice to see these guys get this match like they wanted to. For Eddie Kingston, didn't expect to win, but Eddie Kingston still remains very damn strong. He's taken a couple losses. But this guy is so damn tough, he's unpredictable. Like, you don't know what's going to happen with him. I don't know if they'll ever put the belt on him at some point. But, somewhere down the line, I don't know if he ever needs a belt. He's one of those guys I don't think you ever need to put a belt on him. I don't think it matters. He kind of has almost like that Roddy Piper kind of feel to him. Like, we don't need to see him holding a belt. He's not necessary to hold a title belt. He's just so damn good out there and works so well. And the role that he's in was just good stuff. All right, Inner Circle versus Men of the Year and American Top Team. I was very impressed with Andrei Arlovski. Got quite a few moves in to go to work in this match. The stuff with Dan Lambert was really funny. With Jericho out there. Santana Ortiz, again, with Men of the Year. Those guys just work great together. Because he had quite a bit of that for the bulk of the match. Sammy Guevara, channeling his inner Jeff Hardy. Taking out Scorpio Sky with a large damn ladder. That was good stuff. but everything. This was just a fun match. Lots of plunder, surfboard, and a Boston Crab combo for Men of the Year by Santana Ortiz, which you can just take that as a picture. Just like that, just tells you the bulk of what the match was like. Hell of a match on this. 19 minutes on that. Good stuff, and a good way to go ahead and just let the plunder go along. A good fun match. I mean, it's so aggressive, pretty extreme, but a fun match to kind of, bring everything kind of, not so serious, to kind of, lighten the mood until we got to the world title. Got to make note that Jay Lethal made it out, and that's a big fucking deal. So, a heralded, he's a triple crown, right? Because he's won Ring of Honor World title, Ring of Honor World TV title, also had the belt simultaneously. He had the world and TV title belts as part of his collective with Truth Martini on his side. And also was World Tag Team Champions with Jonathan Gresham. So there, plus he was X Division champion several times over. I don't know if it was Tag Team Champions. It was never World Champion Impact. But if it was Tag Team Champions, I don't know if it was or not. Might have been, but I forget. But Jay Lethal has been great. And it's going to be fun to see what he can bring to AEW, what they decide to do with him. But right off the bat, he comes out, says he's all elite, challenges Sammy Guevara, who's been offering an open challenge for the TNT title. Because Sammy said he would take on all challengers. Jay Lethal, Sammy Guevara, TNT title match. Wednesday on Dynamite. Book it. And Sammy came out and said yes. Wow. What a damn match does come off. Wow. Then you get the Kenny Omega, Hangman Adam Page, AEW World Championship. Man. Now, we see these guys work before. There's chemistry personified on this. 25 minutes. Good length. Great story. The whole thing with the Elite, anyway, was all told here because the Young Bucks also came out later on in the night. And this was also before Hangman Adam Page also confronted the Young Bucks and says, if you even come out to help Kenny, I will run you guys down for the rest of your lives. So, I mean, everything was encompassed of the whole Elite crew here that originally came in through AEW. The entrance for Hangman Adam Page on the horse outside of Target Center. The billboard showing highlights of what his career has been since he came to AEW, from announcing he was going to be all elite to become world champion. Thought he would beat Chris Jericho. Didn't happen. Lost at the world title tournament at Full Gear last year to Kenny Omega in the finals. And tonight was the right night. If you wanted to book Hangman Adam Page to win the world title, this was perfect. I think the timing was just on point. Absolutely perfect. 1 year removed, and he becomes world champion. Which, we could have seen him as world champion, but it was not the right time. Chris Jericho being the champ, the first world champ was the right choice. And it took a couple of years for Adam Page to get to this point and to the growth of this man. Seeing him in Ring of Honor and knowing, listen, I remember when he was, who was it he was with that he was kind of like the lackey? Because he wasn't the, that's right, okay. I had to go back and look at Wikipedia. The Decade, which was formed at Ring of Honor's 12th anniversary show. B.J. Whitmer, Jimmy Jacobs, Roderick Strong. And one of the recruits was Adam Page. That was in 2014. That's where I remember watching Ring of Honor on their TV show and watching, it was right around that point I started watching Ring of Honor. There was 11th anniversary I started watching. I got to watch them after what they were doing. And then he became a full-fledged member because he became a heel. And then just thinking about all that worked with him and where he was going in the direction that was going on with Adam Page and Ring of Honor, and how quickly he became, it didn't take much time for him to go and just kind of just elevate himself up. and then became Bullet Club. And then a Hangman gimmick came in. And it's just something about getting attached in that whole the New Japan kind of stuff. Because Jay White, same thing, getting the Switchblade gimmick. Because Adam Page just felt generic. Until all of a sudden we got Hangman. And then just something changed. And he already basically had everything going. And also, attachment to Young Bucks. The Hung Bucks, you remember they were called at one point. And all that working out. Just... The Ring of Honor did a great job of elevating him where he was. And for the fact that the Young Bucks had so much faith in him to go and bring them over as part of the initial start of AEW. And putting him in a match, especially in that first world title match to crown the first world champion. For Adam Page to be in that. And to see what they've done to develop him since. And the kind of level he is now, they build him into such a good character. He is so loved. He's so damn over. When you looked at the response with him in the Casino Battle Royal, and just saw how everyone was just so happy to see him as a Joker, you could have just put the writing on the wall now that it was just eventual that Adam Page was going to be world champion. And for Kenny Omega, the credit goes to him for the length he had this title, the way he represented with the Impact World title. I don't know if he's still AAA Mega Champion or not. I forget. But there's so much. Talking about a guy that was working his ass off, Kenny Omega. Everywhere. I mean, working in Mexico, doing also for AEW, doing his work with Japan, and just everything. I mean, the guy was just a workhorse. Kind of almost had like that Ric Flair NWA run where you had to go work certain territories. And that guy represented everybody. And, earning number one in a PWI 500 this year. If Kenny Omega's looking to go take a break, he's well deserved it. He's been phenomenal this year. One of the standouts. He is arguably one of the best wrestlers we got now in the world today. Professional wrestling. This is all professional wrestling tonight. What an incredible card. This was a damn good pay-per-view. A+. No doubt about it. I have next to nothing to criticize this show for. There is nothing to critique. Nothing. All I have is praise for this show. All I have is praise for all these people in this roster. And, I don't think it makes me any kind of super AEW mark here at all. And I could give a shit if I am. But this is the level of pro wrestling I want all the promotions to do. Honestly, I want MLW and Impact and NWA. I want them all to have shows like this. Because this is the epitome of what professional wrestling today should look like. Great storytelling. Amazing matches. And a stacked damn card that kept me glued from beginning to end. From the buy-in to the end of the night. I did not leave my damn chair for 4.5 hours. I was all in on this. Fantastic work. Kudos to AEW. Damn good job. So for all those other podcast brethren of mine, hey, God bless you. You want to nitpick? You're welcome to do that. Go ahead and find any little nooks and crannies, little things you want, or if you actually really had a lot of problems to have like it, I'm sure Joey Numbers, if anybody talks about Wrestling Soup, I bet you they're all going to have problems about this. Hey, for those that are very jilted because you're very faithful to WWE, or you have or you just feel like there's something that about AEW that just sticks in your craw, you just don't like them, then that's on you. And you can have that. There are a lot of fans like that off-season listen to your show more than I do, and that's okay. I don't mind that. I gave my opinion. Everybody else can have theirs. But I've been, a 30-year wrestling fan. I'm not into this, to try to get some kind of support from AEW, get interviews from any stars, get free tickets, free merch. I don't do any of that. All I do is watch the damn shows on TV. I've gone to a couple of shows. Otherwise, I'm a fan just like all of you. And I watch, like 6 days a week? Hell, I got MLW. I got the second half of MLW Fusion Alpha to finish up and watch that because I haven't finished that yet. To watch the Opera Cup semifinals or finals, I forget. Wish MLW had pay-per-views again. Come on, Court Bauer. We need you to do MLW pay-per-views again. Come on, let's do it. So, got to go and get to that soon. The other thing, too, is I want to make sure of is that hopefully I'm going to get a chance to not only have, we have Survivor Series coming up, not next week, but the week after. And then what I'm also looking forward to is I'm looking forward to try to catch Hard Times, which will be December 4th. Week after that will be Ring of Honor's Final Battle, which could very well be their final show, unfortunately. But we'll worry about that and see what happens there. So far, for the NWA Hard Times 2, Camille will take on Melina for the NWA World's Women's Championship. Tyrus will take on Scion for the World TV title. And NWA World Tag Team title, it'll be La Rebelión, Bestia 666, and Mecha Wolf 450 versus The End. Odinson and Pero versus Hawks Airy, Luke Hawks, and PJ Hawks. So there you go. There's that. And the Ring of Honor Final Battle, which I think I brought up on the last show. They have their card more or less stacked and ready to go. December 11th, Roxy versus Willow Nightingale, Alison Kay, Mandy Leon, Trish Adora. Whichever wins in, I guess it's a tournament for the world title, women's world title, Roxy will defend against one of those other 4 ladies on that match. Bandito versus Brody King or Jonathan Gresham for the Ring of Honor world title. Because now we know that Chris Dickinson looks like he got hurt in a match tonight at the end the New Japan show in San Jose tonight, San Jose, California. Dragon Lee versus EC3, Ring of Honor World TV title. Shane Taylor Promotions, Moses, Khan and O'Shea Edwards versus Mech Squad, Flamita Bandito Reyes for the 6-man tag team titles. La Faction Ingobernable, Dragon Lee and Kenny King versus the OGK, Matt Taven and Mike Bennett versus Violence Limited. Homicide of Chris Dickinson. Oh, I'm sorry, Chris Dickinson's in that match. That's right. For the Ring of Honor World Tag Team titles, and Kenny King versus Shane Taylor, and a grudge match has been added to the card. So there you go. It's a couple guys working double time on the shows, too. That's also very interesting. So anyway, a few more pay-per-views left to go for the year. And then somewhere after Survivor Series, I'll probably start doing some best of. Not best of, but we'll actually start going through the year of 2021 because there's a whole lot to cover. A whole lot to cover. So I will begin the year in review recap probably the episode in 2 weeks. Or the week before. Actually, I'll probably do it after Survivor Series. Right after that, we'll start doing the multi-part year in review of 2021 in the world of professional wrestling. There's so much to cover. So we'll get to that coming up on future episodes. But in the meantime, thanks for joining me for the Full Gear post show. Come back this Wednesday for another Wrestling is Real podcast because wrestling needs us.
Thank you for listening to the Wrestling is Real podcast. You can find all previous episodes at wrestlingisreal.com or subscribe to the show on all major podcast outlets, including Apple, Amazon, Google, Spotify, and iHeartRadio. Follow the King of Podcasts on Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram at King of Podcasts, and search King of Podcasts on YouTube, or type youtube.com/JBRASCO951. This has been a presentation of the King of Podcasts Radio Network.